Okay, you have Jack Condoro here, along with Marty Welch from Cinnaholic. Looking very much forward to learning all about the Cinnaholic franchise and the system and what it's all about. So Marty, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jack. It's a pleasure to be here.
So why don't you kind of tell us the overview, background, kind of the most important characteristics about Cinnaholic for an individual that might be interested in becoming a franchisee. We'd love to learn all about it.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, again, Jack, thank you for this opportunity, and your team has been awesome to work with over the years. So appreciate you guys, and thanks for all of you that are listening in right now. Cinnaholic is very unique. We had a very humble start about 11 years ago, 2010 in Berkeley, California. Young couple, Shannon and Florian Radke, husband and wife team that had a vision and a dream, and they turned it into reality. Shannon was a master baker, and over the years, she converted her recipes from dairy-based and egg-based to plant-based. And there was a lot of rave reviews from friends and family about her culinary skills, and with a little bit of help from friends and family, they decided to open up a small bakery in Berkeley, California in 2010. It was met with great reviews, one of the best of categories in the Bay Area of California. And by 2013, they had a brilliant idea of submitting an application to ABC's Shark Tank. And they were very fortunate that they were accepted. And in May of 2014, season 5, episode 28 to be exact, for those of you that want to look it up, they were on air live. They got 10 minutes of fame and glory on a national spotlight. And it was a fantastic experience for them. At the same time, they were very smart in that they investigated a few franchise consulting companies, which I happen to be a part of here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am the CEO of Martin Franchise Consultants, and they reached out to a former colleague of mine who happened to be the founder of Moe's Southwest Grill, and they hit it off. And one thing led to another, and Mr. Dollinger is now our CEO and primary investment partner. We formed the franchise in 2015, started awarding franchises that year. And by 2016, we started opening them up all over the country, from places as far as Florida, South Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, South Lake, Texas, across to Las Vegas, and of course, California. So the brand had a humble beginning, but had a very interesting early years with the Shark Tank effect, as we call it. We had a lot of interest in the brand from being on the national stage, as well as being one of the only plant-based franchises in even till today. Back then, 7 years ago, it was unique, and it is still unique today. So I think we fall into a certain niche category, but we also appeal to the masses in that our cinnamon rolls are, we state, as the world's greatest cinnamon roll experience. So when you come in, you get to customize your cinnamon roll with a variety of toppings and frostings. The frostings number around 16 to 18 different flavors. And then the toppings range from fruits to nuts to our decadent chocolate chip cookie dough topping, which is one of our most popular of our products. So the brand has expanded now. So we are I'm heading to Scottsdale, Arizona, to the sun and warmth in 2 days for our 60th opening. We're opening our 60th location, and we counted the other day, we have 76 in development all over the United States and Canada. I might add that we are an international company now. We entered Canada a few years ago, and it's been a big hit up there, from Ontario all the way through British Columbia. So we are in 18 states and 4 provinces of Canada today. So that's kind of a little bit of the history, Jack, and the product. So just wanted to, emphasize that we are looking for candidates that have just a passion and desire for baked goods and or retail or food service. You don't have to have a baking degree or a culinary institute degree to join us. So just wanted to throw that out there.
For sure. I really appreciate it. Congrats on the tremendous growth that you've had
Thank you.
over the past years. I know it's not easy, but yeah, kudos to you and the team there. In terms of, I guess, first question I have was, I know if I was looking to become a franchisee, I would want to better understand what does Cinnaholic look for in the franchisees, and maybe in relation to that, what characteristics do the most successful franchisees have? What kind of backgrounds?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I talk to candidates every day. We have a lot of interest in the brand as we're opening up locations. We're starting to get some very passionate fans of the brand. They're customers. They love the concept and they feel great about the food. They realize that it's, in a great niche. There's not much competition. So the candidate really we're looking for, aside from the obvious, which is the financial qualifications of $75,000 liquid and $300,000 net worth, is the fact that they love working with people. They enjoy the public. They enjoy community. They get involved in the sales and marketing of the product. It really sells itself. I mean, if you bring cinnamon rolls to an office or a building or friends and family, you're going to be welcomed with open arms. So we know that, but you got to get out there and do it. So we are looking for folks that have kind of that marketing personality where they just enjoy working with folks from different walks of life. We work with churches, schools, the community, neighborhood chambers of commerce, and just getting the brand out there. Obviously, we would love to assist them in any way possible. We offer a great program for training, but at the end of the day, you do need to become kind of the Cinnaholic mayor, if you will, of your community within a 3 to 5 mile radius or more. We offer delivery and takeout services. So we do weddings, we do bar mitzvahs, we do catered events. So if you enjoy those type of environment and making people smile and selling a fantastic product, then this is definitely the brand for you.
Got it. So really, what I heard, people oriented, and the person does not necessarily need a background in the food services industry.
Correct.
With that in mind, what sort of training do franchisees go through?
Yeah, so we offer a very comprehensive training program here in Atlanta, Georgia. We relocated from California about 5 years ago. So we're very centrally located in the United States, easy accessibility. There is a 1 full week of training, approximately 40 hours, where you work with all of our department heads and experts. So you'll learn about that sales and marketing aspect. But of course, there is also product 101. We want to train you on how to make a cinnamon roll, make a brownie, a cookie, the chocolate chip. We have a great chocolate chip and Cinnadoodle cookie, chocolate chip banana bread, which is new. And then, of course, some of our frozen as well as hot beverages. So those are they've added to our program considerably over the years. So we have quite a bit of variety now. So all of that is very comprehensive in Atlanta for 1 week. And then very importantly, we send out a team for the grand opening. This is a little bit unique. I work with franchises. That's been my career over the past almost 30 years. And we send a team out to the location of the franchise owner to ensure that we reinforce what they learned in training, as well as make sure that their employees and team hear it from us as well. So it's important, especially in a very high-paced environment at a grand opening. We do nothing small. We have the philosophy of go big or go home. So our grand openings are big. They're huge. We have a great PR firm out of Chicago that helps us send out all of the public, PR announcements, coming soon, from the location announcement all the way through grand opening and through all the social media channels. So typically we have a line down the street, sometimes wrapped around the block, at our grand openings, and it's a lot of excitement. So we need to be there. We know that a lot of the new staff will not be the quickest cinnamon roll makers at the openings, but we'll be there right side by side, elbow to elbow with them to make sure that we get the product out the door quickly and efficiently. We are a made from scratch bakery, so which means that we do make our own dough, we make our own cookies, we make our own brownies, we make our own frosting. So it's important that all of those skill sets are reinforced at the opening. Not complicated. So want folks that are viewing this to realize that, again, you don't have to have a baking or culinary background. It's merely a recipe on a large scale, just like you made at home with mom and grandma over the years. So if you baked cookies, we just use the raw ingredients and we get it in bulk. And we don't have a freezer. None of our product is ever frozen. So it's always very fresh. So all of that, again, we have a great comprehensive training program, 1 week here in Georgia, and then 1 week on site, and just really support our franchisees 110%.
Fantastic. So yeah, I definitely see the kind of roadmap as a franchisee leads up to their opening, and then the grand opening, which is always a big event, as you mentioned. I've seen the photos. Crowds look big. People love the product, obviously. Now, how does it work for the franchisee post opening? What do they focus on, and then what sort of support do they get?
Yeah, initially, we want them to make sure that they've kind of built an elite team. These days, there are some challenges with labor, but we've been able to overcome that in that we have a small staff. Usually there's 2 or 3 employees at any given time that work in the bakery. And then once they reinforce and have a solid foundation for their team, it's, again, I can't say it enough. It's marketing, sales and marketing, getting outside of the 4 walls of their business. And just after the sort of the bedlam of the grand opening, when things start settling down, they really need to start focusing on catering is a big part of our business. Our average ticket has jumped over $10 per transaction, but you can get it upwards of $20 a transaction if you focus on cakes, on party trays, on big events. We do a lot of outdoor events, even indoor events at convention centers. Our product travels very well because it is plant-based. There's no dairy, there's no egg, there's nothing that's going to spoil, and it travels so well. So those are things that the franchisee should focus on after the grand opening. Usually takes about 30 to 60 days before you become comfortable and you have that great team in place, and then allows you to get out of the store, and it's fun. People, again, enjoy eating our cinnamon rolls, and it's something different, and it allows for a higher sales volume. We can get into that in a few moments, but we're seeing double-digit comp sales increases because we're starting to realize that, yeah, you can advertise this on LinkedIn. You don't have to just go on typical social media channels such as Facebook or Instagram. You can get on LinkedIn. One of our top grossing franchisees has a whole B2B segment of her business. She's not behind the counter, topping cinnamon rolls. She's actually out in the community building up her business, and she's seeing a 20-25% jump in sales over the last 2 years, from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 now. And she's built her second franchise and looking at her third now, in a short period of under 3 years. So that's what we train, and we hopefully instill upon our franchisees, that once things are settled down at the store level, they can start getting into the community and working that base around their store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think you touched on a very interesting point, and I think I'd like to dive into that a little bit more about kind of the unique nature of Cinnaholic and the offerings, because it sits within the food and services, but it's a lower cost And then it's also, just to understand the competitive environment as well versus whether are they competing against independent bakeries? Is it Cinnabon? Just to understand that as well. Ice cream
Who?
concepts.
Who was that? Who did you say? No, we respect our competitors.
So what niche, what would you say are the advantages? I guess, how do you define a niche and what are the advantages and the differentiators of Cinnaholic?
No, that's a very important part of our business strategy, is the niche plus the overwhelming acceptance of the product, whether you have a plant-based diet or you don't. We have about at least a dozen of our franchisees are vegan, but then the other 40 plus are not. So interesting that we have a big, almost fanatical base of customers that enjoy that fact that we are plant-based, and it's a growing segment, and it cannot be underestimated. There's a lot of folks that have done it for ethical reasons or dietary reasons. We have a base of folks from Asia that do it for religious reasons. So that's something that is great about the brand, is that it's all encompassing. We have folks from all over the world that have embraced the brand. So when it comes down to the way we advertise, we do fly a little bit under the radar when it comes to plant-based, because we want folks to know that you don't have to be vegan to enjoy a world-class cinnamon roll. You can have anything. I always joke and say that, you know what, if you have a credit card or cash, come on in. You enjoy one of our cinnamon rolls. We don't care what your diet restrictions are. If you're lactose intolerant or if you have an egg allergy, come on in and knock yourself out and enjoy a great cinnamon roll. But we do have there's very important characteristics that I want to emphasize between us and our primary competitor, which you mentioned them. Really, we only have one, which is nice. As far as on a national scale, there are some regional players, but when you look at where they've come in 35 years, it's been more through real estate in malls, through kiosks and food courts. And that's not our strategy. Our strategy is more to be in the street fronts, in the mixed use lifestyle centers, in the downtown urban areas, near colleges and universities and great neighborhoods where people are looking for a great dessert that is different and not the same old that they've gotten for years from our competitors. So that's very important that we emphasize that we have the niches, such as that we have kosher locations that have been certified kosher. Even halal is a possibility. We don't have any that are certified halal yet, but we can. We don't have any dairy. We don't have any meat. So it's quite easy to get those certifications. And then when it comes down to vegan, vegetarian diets, or folks that are even bodybuilders, we get folks that are looking for different types of proteins in their diet versus a protein that might be high in cholesterol. So since we're cholesterol free. So definitely we check a lot of boxes, but I would say at the end of the day, we want to make sure that folks come out because our product is phenomenal, that they love the taste. They think it's delicious. They love the customization. They want to come back and tell their friends and family just because of the fact that it is different. It's unique. And it tastes incredibly great. My favorite is the Cookie Monster with cookie dough and cream cheese frosting. And my wife loves the strawberries and cream. She likes a traditional cream cheese with sliced strawberries on top. So you really can't go wrong. I think there's so many different, I think we have like 3 million varieties. I think someone that knows much better about math than I knows there's about 3 million ways of making our cinnamon roll. And that's very unique. And I think people enjoy that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Which is great though. So you can kind of customize it based off of the user, like the customer's taste, which is what people are really going for these days.
Of course. Yeah.
People,
yeah. And we know they're going to come back. We get about a 97% positive review. Our Google reviews are off the charts. Now it's just up to execution, finding a great location, which we do have a whole network of real estate brokers across the country that assists a franchisee to find that ideal location. We have site criteria. We've learned a lot over the last 5 years. Were we perfect? Are we perfect? No. But at the end of the day, we kind of know our customer now, and we know the type of site we're looking for. So with our great network of brokers, real estate brokers across the country, whether you're in Seattle or South Florida or Boston, we have you covered there. And if even in some smaller markets that we haven't entered into, just our networking over the years with other brands and developing other concepts has definitely made some great relationships for us that we can utilize moving forward with Cinnaholic franchise owners.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So basically, they get the resources they need to find the proper location, build it out.
Yeah, exactly. So with the $39,000 franchise fee, they're able to tap into all of our resources. Of course, the basics of the operations, the marketing, the training comes with that. But it's very important. Location, 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 as the cliche goes, is important in our business. We are a small footprint. I didn't mention this earlier, but we're not a large scale bakery. Pretty much anywhere from a low of 600 square feet to a high of maybe 1,600 square feet. It just depends on the market, depends on costs per square foot. It just depends on the deal. It depends on the economics of our business model, what we choose. Some urban areas, we can go with small footprints. We'll do a lot of delivery and catering. And then some of the suburban or smaller cities may be able to get a larger footprint location where there's a little bit more dine-in. But during the pandemic, dine-in was not a consideration, and we thrived. We were up double digits. Some stores were up 30, 40% in sales since the start of the pandemic, even till today, because we have a very robust online ordering system where you can either order it to take out or order it through third-party delivery. So those are things that really set us apart in the dessert category, especially, and provided those double-digit comp sales over the last 2 years.
For sure, yeah. Having a robust delivery, for this application, online ordering, and then also, the whole logistics of it is huge. So that's great.
Yes, it is. The digital experience is ever evolving, and we have partnered with DoorDash, and they've given us some great rates. So we do use the others. We use Uber Eats and Grubhub, et cetera. But we certainly realize the power of the delivery program, and even post-pandemic, it's going to grow. Millennials, which I have several of which in my children's ages. But they certainly like that convenience factor, and they're willing to spend a few extra dollars to get a cinnamon roll delivered to their front door with a pizza or something. I don't know. They deliver everything these days, so you can get everything at your front door that your heart desires.
For sure. No question. Millennials really value convenience, for sure.
Yeah, correct. I do have to train them to balance a checkbook, though, but that'll come later.
Yeah, exactly. Convenience, always comes with the cost of those delivery fees.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did want to ask you. I thought you brought up a really interesting point, and that's something that, from my standpoint, is a really also kind of defining beneficial characteristic of Cinnaholic, which is the fact that it sits within the food and beverage industry, right? Of franchising, but it's one of the lowest cost concepts we've come across, other than these, kind of kiosk models, which aren't, the full-fledged location. Yeah. And why use that? If you don't mind kind of talking about that, because I think it's a very attractive standpoint from investors.
Yeah, no, that's a great segue into the total investment. We happen to have a small footprint, number one, as I mentioned, that 600 to 1,400 square foot range, with the average store being 1,000 square feet. So just from a pure materials and construction cost, that keeps the investment reasonable. Our equipment package happens to be also rather nominal because we don't have a freezer. We usually have just a small walk-in cooler and/or a three-door cooler in the back with a few refrigeration pieces in the front. We do have a turnkey equipment supplier now, so that equipment is virtually about $60,000 all in. Construction costs are going to range, from say $75,000 to $175,000, depending on your market and depending on what the space requires. But overall, even when you add that up, it's from the high 100s to the mid 200s. Yes, there is a franchise fee. Yes, there is going to be some working capital required. Whether you go, whether you use personal funds or you go through SBA or use a rollover. We have lenders, by the way, to help you through the financing process. But yeah, that's an important fact, is that we are in the 200s. 250,000 is very reasonable for a business startup, especially in food and beverage. And that's how we keep our costs low. It's small footprint, relatively low equipment package, and easy build out. We have everything modular. It's set in place in the front of the house, and then from the stainless steel equipment, the sinks, the cabinets, the shelving, the tables, all of that is brought in and just rolled into place. So quite simple. We also work with landlords to see if we can get money back. As I mentioned, our real estate team will assist and try to get some money back in form of tenant improvement allowances. So sometimes we may get back $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 towards that build out, which is awesome, because then you can end up, the total investment could come in under 200,000. So, it's just something that we provide as far as support when it comes to real estate. But at the end of the day, the costs speak for themselves. I think it's a very reasonable range. And the fact that we only require like about 75,000 in liquid assets and a $300,000 net worth definitely puts us in a category where a lot more folks can afford to get into business for themselves.
Precisely. Yeah, it's a very attractive price point at the end of the day, due to all the factors you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, from my end, I don't have any other questions in particular. Was there anything else you wanted to go over? I'll say one thing I actually do remember is, if someone was to listen to this, watch this video, what would be the steps, the whole process to potentially becoming a franchisee of Cinnaholic?
Yeah. So first is a discussion with yours truly. So basically, they can go through your office, or they can go online. Obviously, Cinnaholic.com. We have a franchise page, so they can fill out the information there online. They will get through to myself and my assistant. So we have a small team here at corporate. So what happens is, once we go over an interview similar to what we're doing now, and I will go over their background experience, get to know them a little better. It's about building relationships. A franchise is a partnership, so we want to make sure it's a 10-year franchise agreement with a 10-year renewal option. So we take it seriously, and hopefully they do too. So once we go through the process of getting to know each other, they complete an application. Once the application comes back and there's a pre-qualification with our team, we go ahead and we send out a franchise disclosure document for them to review. We are registered in 46. Well, we're in all registration states except for 4. We're not currently taking applications in Hawaii, Alaska, and the Dakotas. Dakotas. Although I would love to get to Hawaii. But with that said, we are expanding all over the country. So there's opportunities in all of the other states. As I mentioned, there are some areas that are sold out, so we will identify those. I won't go over those right now, but certainly we have the discussion about territory, which is important. The cities should be either part of a major metropolitan area, or they are in a city that would have at least 100,000 in population. We're currently not looking in rural towns at this time. We'll analyze each market on a one-on-one basis, but mostly major metro areas is where we're focused. So once we establish that, we get the FDD out, we do an FDD review call, and then we schedule either a virtual or in-person discovery day here in Atlanta. So with the onset of COVID, we've all gotten accustomed to having these types of interviews and virtual meetings. So I'll be in Phoenix later this week, and I'll be meeting 2 of our franchisees for the first time in person. So got to know them really well online and over our conference and virtual calls. So with that said, that's the process. Once you are awarded a franchise, we send out the agreements via DocuSign, and then the funds are transferred via wire transfer. And we make it easy. We make it simple, not a drawn out process. I'm a decision maker along with our CEO. and one of our other vice presidents. So we work together as a team, but not a lot of layers of management right now. You get to work directly with a lot of the executives of the company, and everyone wears a lot of different hats. So I'm wearing my sales hat today, but yeah, so I walk them through the process and kind of stay in touch pretty much on a weekly or bi-weekly basis as necessary.
Fantastic. It's very straightforward, and obviously you guys have done this a lot, so the process is streamlined. Hopefully, someone listening to this, we're watching this video, the process is even more streamlined. So that's our goal.
Absolutely, yeah. No, this has been wonderful, Jack. I appreciate the time and the opportunity you gave me to discuss Cinnaholic.
For sure, for sure. Well, Marty, thanks again. We'll let you go, and yeah, hopefully see you again soon.
All right, thanks, Jack.